You never leave Middle-earth, do you?
I don't think you do.
You always come back.
Yeah.
Look, I was in I thought I couldn't have a smaller role than the first trilogy. But no, it was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. I mean, it must be surreal.
Completely surreal.
For you.
Totally.
It's like, where's my part gone?
Yeah, but kind of nice to only come back for a short bit, in a way, you know? Not to have the pressure of the full trilogy and just sort of come back and revisit it was like a family reunion.
Yeah, it's fun.
You know?
Fun to come back for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But I found it, look, in my small way, I found it really strange to then go back and tell a story that was made, or you know, in the progression of it.
60
yes.
years before.
How does one look
When we're
60
so much
years?
younger.
Younger. Well, as elves,
Elves were immortal.
timeless. Yes.
Yeah, I suppose the world of the film is not. It's one where the sense of doom is not as great. The whole world of the Lord of the Rings was very much in peril and sort of an autumnal feel to it. This is slightly more innocent. It's still tonally in the same place, but it's a slightly more innocent world, I suppose.
Because I think that the high elves know what's coming,
Yeah.
and also the audience does. So the audience brings their own level, I think, of anxiety because they know the world that they're all plunging unwittingly into. Galadriel knows.
Of course she does.
Of course she does.
Yeah, well, Frodo was actually not born during the time of The Hobbit, so the bit that I'm in is actually during the time of The Lord of the Rings, sort of before everything starts to fall apart. Yeah. So it's the innocent Frodo that we meet at the beginning of this.
I enjoy working with Pete and working in this. I love this feeling that you never know what's going to happen. You've just got to be prepared for everything, and you've got to take responsibility for yourself and jump in and have a good time.
Beautifully put, yeah.
That's what I love.
I think he's the only director on the planet that can make you absolutely believe and invest in a character with bird shit running down his head, being pulled by a sleigh full of rabbits, and you commit to that. I mean, there's very few directors who could get you to invest in the depth and reality of that moment.
I mean, I'd have to agree with both of them. Part of it's working with Pete and being in the environment that he sets up for his actors and for the crew. And the world that he creates that does feel so believable and so real. You know, for Frodo, obviously, the large part of my journey was over, and it was an extraordinary journey, so just to kind of come back and revisit the innocence and fun of the character was just a joy.
My more recent memories of The Hobbit are reading it to my kids and loving revisiting that for them. But it's, that was the thing that most interested me about doing this film, was tonally how similar or different The Hobbit was going to be to Lord of the Rings, because there's a playful,
it's buoyant.
there's a lighter quality to the book.
I agree with Hugo. It's been, I mean, you know, as a child when you're reading it, you're entering into a timeless universe, but it's reinforced when you read it and to your 11-year-old son, and then you see it through their eyes, and I can't wait for them to see the film.
No, me neither.
Well, it was my introduction to Tolkien. I mean, I read the book when I was probably 11 or 12. It was just a magical adventure, you know. And I was also curious as to how this would feel in comparison to Lord of the Rings, in the sense that it's very much a proper adventure story, and it is more buoyant and sort of whimsical and funny.
Did you keep going and read Lord of the Rings straight after The Hobbit?
I didn't. No,
Yeah,
I had the volume on my bookshelf, and it was a little daunting.
It still is.
It is still daunting.
There's something about this set. You feel like it's such a big city that you come into the studio and it's this massive. It's like a megapolis or something, and yet it's got the heart of a cottage industry. And there's something about Pete, that he's got this huge vision, the scope, but his ability to always be himself, have his feet often without shoes, very much on the ground, and he's this fabulously creative mind. He's always, the work never stops. He's always keeps on creating.
Whenever you hear other directors, very influential directors, talk about the directors that they admire and they look to as innovators, Peter's, or you know, always one. You know, David Fincher's one, Sam Raimi's another, and Peter's absolutely one of those guys. And you know, as an actor, he's deeply human and funny and irreverent. And as you say, he's like a mad scientist. And you know, there's very few people who've got all that rolled into one package, I think.
Yeah. Well, he's incredibly genteel and very down to earth, and like Hugo was saying, like the environment is so massive. It was bigger on this film than Rings as well, and yet it feels so intimate, and it feels like it's being run by a small community and a family. And I think that extends from Peter, and it's really quite extraordinary. You know, coming back here to New Zealand, it feels like you're kind of working in a neighborhood with a lot of friends and family, and yet the scope is so incredibly massive.
I think it's vital.
Couldn't be anywhere else.
It couldn't.
I mean, I think obviously because of its relative remoteness, it's what makes it. It's like Australia. I mean, everyone talks about what makes, you know, Australia so unique, and it's that sort of relative comparative distance. But it's what you were saying too. It's incredible, and a real testament to the heart of the country that this incredible creative eruption has been exposed internationally, but still the very handmade quality, the down-to-earth quality, the just getting practical, day-to-day process of making films hasn't changed.
And the joy that all the Kiwis seem to express working day to day on the sort of excitement of working on it, that's so palpable. And that's in the street, people come up and shake your hands and they're excited about seeing the film, and there's something really, really lovely about that quality. It's so uncynical.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. There's also a sort of, the thing I love about New Zealand crews is they have a kind of creative ingenuity. I mean, I remember on Rings, you know, multiple crew members would wear different hats and do as many things that they possibly could to aid in the ultimate job at hand. And that's such a beautiful thing. There seems to be no separation from department to department. Everyone's just giving their all to the creative vision and working together. It's beautiful.
I was thrilling to see it, and well, for me, possibly for all of us, you feel like, well, often when you go and see a film you're into a lot, it takes a little while for you to really be able to see it objectively. But this film, I felt so immersed in it and swept away. I really felt like a kid watching it. It was absolutely delightful and very moving as well, and like really profoundly moving in parts, and exciting and yeah, kind of mind-blowing, really.
Like
I think the storytelling is impeccable because it's such a, I mean, there's so many avenues you can go down in the story, and it's been so judiciously put together. And for me, the quintessential moment was when Bilbo found the ring. And I mean, I was only watching by myself, but I gasped because I think and I think the audience will have that sense of collective memory. Oh no,
that's it.
This is it. And there's 3 more movies I'm going to have to watch. No, but it's. I think that's the collective memory of the audience is really going to feed the experience.
Totally.
I mean, it's perfect in a way that I think that the Rings was made first and that this has come later, because I found the experience so rich, really rich.
Yeah, I completely agree. It is rare that you get to see something objectively, and having had such a small part in the film, it was just lovely to watch as a fan, as you know, the entire experience just kind of washes over you. It's a ride. It's wonderful. It's a lot of fun.